Hello and welcome back to Tiny Table Talks. We'll be coming to you every Thursday from Spotify and YouTube, so be sure to check us out. And please follow us on Instagram at the CC Zone. So last week we discussed New Year's goals and adulting, but today we are discussing something different, love. Last year we talked about love, but this year it's going to be a little different since in today's discussion we will be diving just a little deeper. My name's Ariana and I am in the room with 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Ben. This is my first time on the TTT podcast. Long-time fan. Been a fan of this show for like 8 or 9 years. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm Mava. I'm still here. And welcome.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm still here, yeah. And welcome to Chloe and Ben for the first time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Before we fully dive in, what is one thing that you all love about yourselves and why?
Because I'm Asian, I look younger than my age. So it means that when I turn 40, I'm gonna look like 30 years old. A 30-year-old girl. I mean, woman.
Yeah, it's like a super. Yeah, that honestly is like a superpower for some people. Like I'm 22 and I already sort of look like I'm like 30, like 39.
No.
Yeah,
no,
I
he
do.
looks
I'm like,
a
I got like the
baby.
crow.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I have like the crow's feet like developing already, and I've had like permanent bags under my eyes since I was like 8. So, yeah, it's got a long road ahead.
So what about you guys?
I think I like the fact that I don't really cares about other opinions about me.
Oh, that's
So,
very
good.
yeah, that's very.
It doesn't matter me.
I think that's really cool.
A bit
That's just my
worried.
opinion. Yeah.
But when it comes to work, I'm a little bit more cautious.
Oh.
But in everyday's life,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, I do that a lot. You will be used to.
I really love the fact that even as a kid, I was always into just reading and learning as many facts as I possibly could. And it's just come in handy for conversations as an adult.
Oh.
Quick, name a fun fact. Now, go.
Right now I'm actually doing research for an article about really old Hollywood stars, and I found out the oldest one was 104.
What? Who's still alive?
No, like,
or just
he
like
just
the
lived the
oldest
longest.
person who's like lived in Hollywood ever? Like he was just there. Like he's 104.
No, not physically in Hollywood, like Hollywood stars. And it was a woman.
Oh, sorry. I have to check my.
So I've just been learning about a lot of old people and a lot of ages. And it's just, I don't know. It was cool for me.
Nice.
So what about you, Ben? What do you love about yourself?
I love my nose. It's like not too big, not too small. I don't know. It doesn't have any like weird features. Doesn't have like a wart on the end of it. I'm not like one of those guys.
Oh no, Chloe's going to be
What?
self-conscious about her nose.
Chloe doesn't.
now.
Wait, what's wrong with Chloe? Chloe, you have a fantastic nose. Did
Thank
someone
you.
say otherwise? Where are they? I will track them down.
So we just talked about what we loved about ourselves, but now can we just define love, period? What does it mean to each of you?
Let's see, what is love to me? It's, honestly, I feel like it's just that very deep down, necessary urge to be seen, make connections, and also to sort of define to yourself, like, who are people you want to spend time with, who are people you want to try and survive with, to thrive with, to live your life. And it serves in 2 directions. It sort of guides you towards the people that you really do care about, and it keeps you away from people who you think would be harmful, both could be either physically or even just personality-wise. Love is a guiding tool, I think, beyond anything else.
Wow.
Everyone
Getting
go
philosophical
home.
right here, I know. Whoa.
For me, I think there's different kinds of love. But the link between all of them is that you care about the other person and you will act for them with more affections and protectiveness.
For me, I guess like the top 2 things I was thinking about, and you both brought this up in your own ways, is just connections and time. Because with connections, there's varying levels of love, because you have love for friends, love for family, love for like romantic relationships.
Love for
and
Netflix
then-
shows?
Yeah, love for Netflix shows. Yeah, you put time and connection into that. And then, yeah, with time, because, you know, sometimes different relationships start out at different levels, but then over time, they kind of grow in their own meaningful ways, or they might not, but I mean, say for example, you might meet someone and not know that years down the road you'll have like a very deep and lasting friendship. Whereas you might, you know, or you might get into a really quick relationship right away and think it's gonna last forever, and then
And a week later, you hate that person.
yeah, it's like, who? I don't know them. So that's what it is to me.
Yeah.
All right, Mava, what does love mean to you?
I think to me, love it used to be a really complicated feeling for me. But I guess the main thing that I've learned, even with family or friends, is when you love them, you have to accept their qualities and flaws, and not try to change them. Yeah, so that's my main definition, I think.
So now that we've all talked about what love means to us, I just want to bring it to how did that definition maybe affect you growing up? How did it make you feel? Has your perspective on love changed since you were a child from then to now?
Absolutely, yeah, it has. You know, when you're a kid, love almost seems like an alien construct for you. I'm eating Kit Kats, all right? Well, I'm not gonna try and you can't judge my life.
We can do ASMR.
Oh no.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, love really starts out almost like this alien topic. It's something that's described to you by adults. It's something you just see off to your side, and meanwhile you're just hanging out saying girls or guys are icky. And what? I'm talking like when you're like a little kid.
I get no.
Oh, yeah.
Continue with your explanation.
Yeah. But yeah, love, I feel like, is something that for the longest time you're like an outside viewer taking in everyone else's like experiences about it, and it's only really like when you become an adult, it truly starts to flesh itself out and show you like how it can affect your life, like in a really like true blue fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anyone here is like fallen like head over heels in love yet, and we're all still pretty young, right?
Why you guys staring
Yeah,
at me?
why
you
you
guys
making
staring at me?
assumptions?
Well, I don't
Why
know.
you guys staring at me?
Is there who here is married? Who here has like a full family? Who's been together for like 20 years with somebody?
Have 10
Hit me with
kids?
it. Yeah.
She looks super young.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See?
You're actually like 100-year-old like mystical
Yeah.
warrior, like samurai.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is now an established fact on this podcast.
I is 100 years old. I quite agree with you.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was in like elementary school, I used to be like, ew, guys, no, like, I don't know. But then, okay, because I grew up in an Asian family and my parents would never say I love you.
No.
So even now,
When you were growing up 100 years ago.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And even now, when I tell them, "Oh, I love you," they get awkward and they're like, "What do you need? Do you need something? Are you okay?
Yeah, what's happening?
Are you okay?" Like, yeah, I just wanted to say I
Like
love
they're
you.
like they're only ever used to like those kind of words coming up if like something's falling, like if like someone's about to die.
Yeah.
Almost.
But then, and the romantic love that I used to picture in my head when I was in middle school, high school, was, oh, if I love someone, my heart is going to keep beating and I will have butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you grow older, it's not necessarily the case, I think.
Yeah.
It gets
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as a kid, it just seemed very black and white.
Yeah.
And also just through a lot of things I saw in movies or read in books, I kind of frame my ideas of love around that partially.
Yeah.
And then also, maybe I'm kind of the opposite of you in terms of I grew up in a household where my mom is South American, so they're very warm and loud and
Yeah, yeah.
affectionate.
Yeah.
They say I love you like 100 times
Yeah.
every hour, probably.
Yeah.
It's not like that in Canada.
We apologize more than we say I love
yeah,
you.
probably. Yeah, that's very.
I thought of love from the stuff that I saw in movies, but then also because I grew up in a South American household, I always associated like automatic affection with, oh, this is love, this is showing love. And
So you're almost like a little too affectionate, like
No.
when going into it.
well, I think probably in relationships, yeah, I'm very affectionate, but then other than that though, I'm pretty like, I think because I get enough of it from my family, I don't really feel the need to be like enveloping everyone or everything.
Aw.
If not in a bad way. If I greet people, if I meet them for the first time, I shake hands, but then after that, then I'm a hugger kind of thing. So
How come you never hugged us?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you never hugged us.
You've shown so little love for us,
Yeah.
Ariana. How could
you were
you?
all working so hard. Chloe, what about you?
Talking about hugs and everything.
Yeah,
I
just
Yeah.
think I wasn't like that before because my family, they are not used
Then
to
you hugged
do
someone
that.
for the first time, and you're like, there is no going back.
But I think I became like a huge hugger
mhm.
when I came back from Spain because they are really into touching people.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it when I first came into the country, but then when I left,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got off the plane, was there just like someone there, like at the gate, just like some stranger there, like waiting to hug you, just
No,
like
but-
welcome to Canada?
For instance, my brother, he get very bored because I'm always asking him to hug me and everything. He never do it, but yeah, I'm chasing it. Even my parents, they were surprised I was so
Affectionate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
Aww.
Do you think the meaning of love can change based on your environments and households?
Yes.
Why? Why yes?
I mean, for instance, I think I grow with parents that loves me.
Mhm.
It make me feel more confident about myself. So I think if you don't get the love you need, this going to change your mentalities and the way you act, the way you feel,
Yeah.
the way you think, everything.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
How do we view romantic love versus platonic love, or even being in love versus being obsessed?
Oh.
So like infatuation as opposed to falling in love.
I think pretty much everyone has to go through the infatuation phase at first.
Huh.
And you know how, okay, I'm gonna try dating this person because I have a crush on him, but then, oh, actually, I don't like him, I'm losing interest. So I think that's the infatuation phase. But if, for example, you're accepting this person and you're going through hardships with this person, I think it's falling in love with this
Yeah.
person, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of sound like you have a story behind this.
Hey,
I mean, do
yes. I do have a story
Yes.
about this. That I'm not gonna share.
You're not gonna share?
with-
What? Oh,
Yes.
give us like a little taste. You don't have to explain like anything too deep.
Okay, so no, actually, it doesn't go through that in that category because it didn't started with infatuation. Because I put this person in the friend zone like area,
Oh no!
friend zone area.
Oh
But
no!
then he slowly got out of the friend zone area.
Oh, he told you that like he got out of the friend zone, right? Like he moved his way out of it. He was lying. They're always lying. They're always lying about that. Like once you're in there, like truly, it's tough. And I am saying from experience.
Aww. Aww.
Oh,
That's so oh, babe.
What?
What do you think of the friend zone just in general?
Oh,
Okay,
Do you guys believe in it? Like it sounds like you believe in it.
absolutely yes. Do you
okay,
not?
wait. Do you guys think that in order to be in a relationship with someone, you have to be friends first?
I honestly like everyone, like every person I've ever like had a really big crush on. I sort of started off as a friend. Like I always kind of didn't like that like kind of idea where it's like you see someone from like across a party and like or like in a crowded hall or something, and you just like lock eyes and fall in love because like for me it's I see that and I was like, oh, that person's like cute or nice or something, but I don't know what TV shows they like, so I can't decide. Yeah, like, or like I don't know like what food they eat, or I don't know like maybe if they're a member of like some kind of Jim Jones's cult or something like that. You got to learn more information. So I feel like yeah, it's you got to start by being friends.
But were you not afraid to be put in the friend zone area if you start to be friends with them and then you're like, oh, actually, I like you better as a friend.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, see, here's what it is. The friend zone sucks, but it's still. First of all, yes, it does exist. It sucks, but it's in a lot of ways sort of a part of life. It's a consequence that sometimes comes from having a crush on somebody and living in an imperfect world where not 100% of all society like wants to be in a relationship with you. All right, it's going to happen. The big thing is that everyone has to decide is what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue being around this person and supporting them, continuing the good relationship that you already had that led you to having this crush? Or are you going to be kind of like just a little prick about it and be like, oh my god, they broke my heart, they tore me apart, they didn't give me the relationship that I was owed,
That's my issue with the friend zone, because it does exist in terms of like people choose, okay, I like you as a friend, or okay, I think there's potential to be more kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's the way people who feel that they're in a friend zone and are not happy with that, how they react to it, that makes the whole thing seem just really toxic, because then it makes me think, okay, so why are you befriending these people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was there an agenda the whole time? Like, do you think you're owed something? And that's what kind of rubs me the wrong way about it. So I think it's funny to talk about, but when I hear people complain about being in it, or get emotional and lash out at people because of the designation, that's what kind of like, ooh, like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and that's honestly, you know what really changed my perspective on it is, and this will be like a big thing with me on this show, is movies. Mm-hmm. And one thing in particular, has anyone here seen 500 Days of Summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is, I recommend to anyone listening, I recommend that as like number one thing to watch if you were like very recently put in the friend zone, or if you were like just recently like faced some kind of breakup or something like that. Because it's great movie. And there's the one line in it that just struck me. It was near the end. Spoiler alert. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Nope. And then the girl from New Girl, whatever her name is, Zooey Deschanel. Yeah. So they broke up. It's been a couple months. Robin from Dark Knight Rises is going all the way, like doing everything wrong, like when it comes to like a breakup or like a friend zoning kind of thing. Is just making it all about himself, wondering how could this happen. And then they meet up again on a park bench, and then they sort of talk about the relationship. You find out that Zooey Deschanel is married, and it's just been a couple months since the two of them broke up. And of course, I had sort of like the natural reaction at the start of that scene where I was like, that son of a, how could she do that to Joseph Gordon-Levitt? God. And then the scene keeps on going, and they talk about like her meeting the new guy, and finally Joseph is like, oh well, what happened next? And then she says, quite simply, and then I felt something that I just never felt with you, and I was. Yeah, and yeah, it was a little bit of like a stab, but it was also like one of those like mind-opening things. You say to yourself like, oh, like so often we forget like this is another person with their own completely different set of feelings and their own like things that they're looking for, things that they aren't looking for. And if you don't have all that to offer to that person, it's nothing wrong with you. It simply is a sheer case of incompatibility.
I've never been obsessed about someone, but I have many friends. When we were younger, they had crush on guys like every weeks. They were like spying the guy, trying to find like what he like and everything. When you
That's
are
not
young.
like my friend.
And sometimes they dated that guy at the end, and they were like, oh, it was more funny to be obsessed about him, to
The chase.
chasing him than having him. So they were looking for another guy again and again.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, but like she never actually got together with him.
See, sometime, yeah.
Oh, but never lasted.
No.
Oh, wow.
That ties back to 500 Days of Summer because
Yeah.
the whole thing is he's really in love with this idea of summer as opposed to who she actually is.
Yeah.
Because one of the weird markers of realizing that I've grown up was the first time I watched it when it came out. I was 14. I was on Tom's side.
Yeah.
I was so mad at summer. I rewatched it when I was maybe 22 or 23, and I found myself relating more to Summer.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, poor girl. She has to deal with this dude. Like,
Yeah, and like it's tough too because it's not like he's not like some kind of like evil like
No,
dick
yeah.
dude who like is like treats her really wrong. He's just a person who is legit infatuated with this idea of a relationship, and that says so much about just like I think anyone can relate to that. Like we've all had that kind of person, whether it's ourselves or whether it's someone we've known who's just had that like long standing crush that we know we sort of know deep down it's not quite the thing that they're looking for, the thing that they're building it up to be.
because we're talking about 500 Days of Summer. This is back in the aughts. But how do we think the way love is depicted has changed? Is it become more truthful? Because I know in the 90s it was more... No, it was less complex. But then things like 500 Days of Summer
Yeah.
kind of shed light on the fact
I don't know.
that there's
I
a lot
mean,
of nuances.
Yeah, I mean, like, has there been any? Was there any? Like, let's open this up. Like, has there been some kind of, I don't know, movie, book, story of any kind that you guys have seen that's come out maybe like the last 10 years, 15 years that truly has sort of changed your perspective on what love can be?
Lady Bird.
Oh, I really want to see that.
100% Lady Bird. But that was really great though, because that was between like a mother and a daughter. That was the main love story, and
Oh yeah.
it was just, oh god, the dynamic was so amazing because 1 minute they're talking and they're getting along because they know each other so well. They've known each other, for all of the daughter's life, and they're clicking, and then within 5 seconds they're like screaming at each other and just pushing each other's buttons and like the only ways that they know how.
Yeah.
And it was just so... It blew my mind to see that on screen because oftentimes, when you're thinking about love, it's more about romance or sometimes friends, right? But not so much family.
Oh, I know like a very recent one that we can talk about. It's a little bit of an even topic. Is Marriage Story. Has anyone seen that yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was a pretty interesting movie for me because it was a little bit like what I was expecting. It was it's a story like straight up of divorce. Yeah, that's. I see you looking that up. That's the Adam Driver yells at Scarlett Johansson movie.
On Netflix.
On Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah. Neither of them won best actor, best actress for it though, which sucks because they did really well. Sorry, but that movie was interesting because I think what it was all about depicting a love story that had come to its natural closing. Mm-hmm. And what was great about it is that, like, so often you see, everyone's seen, like, stories of divorces or, like, split, like, breakup stories before. And there's always that trope where you're like, oh, no, they just had a few rough spots. They're supposed to get back together. They're supposed to be together. But this was truly, I think, one of the first big stories I've ever seen before that said, these two really are splitting up, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. That's not, like, it's okay that love maybe on occasion is there, but it's not perpetual. And also divorce sucks. So don't do it unless you absolutely are like out of it. Like So that was one for me that really, really changed it up.
Okay, so my friends recently told me that, Reva, I don't know what is dating now. And I'm like, what do you mean?
That sounds like the beginning of like one of those conversations with a friend.
Yeah, and I said, what do you mean? And he said, it's really complicated right now.
Oh no.
Because now you know how we have this weird
Hookup culture?
yeah, not officially in a relationship with someone,
Oh,
but
yeah,
more
yeah.
than friends.
The trial period.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're really confused with that, and me too. I got really confused with how, in order to be in a relationship with someone, that someone has to make it official.
Yeah.
But then when I talked with my parents, they told me, Meva, why are you complicating yourself? You guys like each other and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really understand that, because they told me, you know, back in the days when I fell in love with your dad, we didn't make things that complicated. We just looked at each other and we knew.
Oh my god.
Aw.
And we knew. And I asked them, but didn't dad ask you to marry him? And she said, no, he never did. We just knew.
Just disgusting.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
There was no semblance of discussion.
Yeah, I don't know,
You
but
just showed up one day, like
Yeah,
one of them had a dress
Yeah.
Let's go to City Hall.
married, asking her to be his girlfriend. Apparently my dad never asked my mom, but they knew. So I was really confused about
He
that.
gave her.
on. Well, you gotta double check if he even has like a ring on or anything.
Yeah,
As we
Maybe
go.
I feel like that might be like a very well crafted lie. Like maybe they have had plans to get married. They just haven't gotten around to it yet.
that's true.
Like 20 or 30 years being together.
Yeah.
It's just like, we'll get to it tomorrow.
Or one of them's just like, oh, the other's a great friend.
Yeah, exactly. My mom told me, yeah, like we were friends and we're still friends, but we're now together.
Yeah.
But I don't know how.
But isn't that a label?
That ended up into a marriage and having my sister and I eventually. But there's a lot of movies picturing like friends with benefits and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that shape.
Like that movie, Friends with Benefits.
Yeah.
But at the end, they always fall in love.
Yeah.
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 So
So I'm not sure, because I understand how my friends is feeling, kind of,
Yeah.
because of this culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
but I think like movies and series nowadays, they are making things,
Yeah.
making life way too complicated. It's not
Yeah.
that complicated.
Well, no, it's I don't even think I honestly feel like in this case, like the movies and TV like we've gotten surrounding it has been a good depiction of real life what we are actually dealing with, because that's the thing. Like as I was saying a bit earlier, in the good last like century, we've the options for like how you want to define like your love with someone like has opened up a lot. But with any sort of like additional freedom in our society, like more options means more complications.
Yeah.
And of course more little like sub worries about like does this type of relationship work well? Does this type of is this truly love when it's like this?
Yeah.
So it's that's what we're dealing with right now.
It's kind of like with Netflix, where now you're so happy you have all these movies to watch, but then when you go and try to choose one, you're inundated with all these options, and you just eventually don't really
you're
do
like-
anything, or you just kind of grab the nearest thing that you've already seen before.
Oh God, I know.
But it's crazy because then I guess the equivalent of that is dating apps right now, and there's definitely nothing wrong with it though. For me though, personally, when Tinder kind of came out, I was at the tail end of high school, but I had been dating someone since the 11th grade. So from the 11th grade to my second year of university. So I never had the experience of the dating apps when it first popped up. So after we broke up, I didn't even join it until like maybe a year and a half or 2 years later. Because I don't know, it freaked me out, like the wild west of online
I don't know
dating.
if it makes you feel any better. Like I think people are still like right now still trying to figure it out. Like this is a story from this last weekend. I'm not making this up. I was with some people up at my university that I was doing something with, and it was two girls. One of them was on a dating app. And got matched with this one like really hot guy and had no idea what to say. So she just passed the phone off to her friend, and her friend proceeded to make an entire like like set like hour and a half long like flirtatious exchange in which and now this guy is like head over heels in love with the girl, even though it's not the girl, it's the friend. Is that catfishing? Like, would you is
emotional?
Is that like in the is that in the realm of catfishing? Because like I know it's. So yeah, if that person, I don't think that person would designate themselves as like an expert in dating apps, because it's still dating apps.
Yeah, there's still the nerves.
Yeah.
It's just translated in a different way.
Yeah, if you're nervous about dating in real life, you're still going to be nervous online. If you're excited about dating in real life, you're still going to like jump head over heels into something online. It's
But this kind of app, I think they are trying more and more making thing more easy.
Yeah.
No.
Or personalized, right?
Yeah, more personalized. I saw many influencers making advertising for one app, and you have to pick up a fruit.
Yeah.
And depending on the fruit,
What?
it's the kind of relationship we want. For example, if it's a banana, it means that you want to have a relationship.
What's
with
The
someone.
banana's the relationship one.
What's this?
I don't know. It's kind of, and the peach would be like you want something serious. The other one can be friendship, and you don't even have to start the conversation. They offer you like some sentences, so it helps you to start the conversation and everything.
Is it called Fruits?
It sounds
Maybe.
like, it sounds like Hinge too, because that one you pay for it and then you answer questions, and then people can see all the questions you've answered, and then based on that, it's supposed to be a little more meaningful than Tinder and Bumble. Though now both of them have adapted. Apparently, this is all coming from like me knowing my brother who's still on dating apps. I am not anymore, thank God. But they're trying to follow that model and make it a little more, I guess, a little less distant.
Yeah.
Less like a
Left
meat
and right.
market. Yeah.
Okay, so I found the app that Chloe was talking about, and the way that they described it, based on the different type of fruits, cherry to find your other half. Hashtag tie the knot.
Wait, no, you gotta say it with a voice.
You go.
All right, you grab the grape to share a glass of wine and maybe dine. Hashtag no one night stand. Watermelon to find fruits with benefits. Hashtag no seeds attached. And peach to dance in your sheets tonight. Hashtag go bananas.
The app.
Oh my God.
That's interesting.
Aww.
Pretty lucrative.
Interesting.
Who's gonna try?
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
Can I share a quote? We all have baggage. Find someone who loves you enough to help you unpack.
Aww.
I know. It's the
That's
best.
very cute. Ooh. So now that we are discussing dating apps and things like that, I know a lot of it hinges on the meat market element, where you can quickly swipe and be like, yeah, like, I like that. Even though
It's a meat market element?
It honestly is. It feels like a human meat market, because you're just looking, you're going, yeah, nope, yeah, and this person is like, this could be someone who's maybe the kindest person in the world, volunteers, has like a 4.0 GPA, is on track to getting a really good job, and all this stuff, and all these amazing qualities. But if I look at that picture and I'm like, nope, just swipe. How am I'll never know.
Hey, is that not true of like real life though? Like you maybe go out on like a blind date and you're like, oh my god, this person has all my interests. Like we have so much in common. We really like hit off each other. But that like. There's like a wart on his nose, though.
But I mean, it feels more, I guess, because yes, as humans, we judge books by their covers.
Yeah.
Like we're not perfect. It's just the way it is. But it's made it a little more machine-like, very efficient.
Yeah.
Like you can just cut it off immediately. I don't know, so that element always, because I came into the dating app game really late, and then I was only in it for like. Not a very long time. I just eventually, I was like, no, I'm gonna shut this off. And then I met someone in real life.
Like immediately?
No, not immediately.
Like you shut off your phone, you're like, oh hi there. Like you look your head, you just look up. It's like an assembly line for dating now, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like very like Build-A-Bear. I don't know, but again, if you do want to have fun, then it is even easier to be like, oh yeah, that's my type. Like let's go. Do you all believe in types? do you have types, or do you think it's more about who your heart eventually connects with as you start to build a relationship?
Yeah, I'd say types. I'd say types are a pretty big thing.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I feel like if we were to like, I feel like everyone here and most people listening, I'm sure, like if they close their eyes for a little bit, just think for a little while, like truly, like what would I love to find in a in someone that I want to spend time with. They can like at least a small like bullet point list pops up. All right, I'm not saying like you have some kind of like perfect fleshed out like 100-page long description of it. Maybe some people in the audience do, but yeah, like it's like everyone has at least a little bit of something that they already know ahead of time that they want to find, and I think that's good. You know, if your goal in this world is to go out and find some lovely soul to share yours with, it's good to have at least a little bit of a few like predisposed things that you want to find, and then that way, if it doesn't click, you already know that in your head.
Fair enough.
So I think that if you wanted to find that as a type, they exist for sure.
But sometimes it's a bit scary. I have a friend. He used to date like always the same kind of girls, same names, same family situation.
Oh my goodness.
And it was kind of weird.
Weird. Hey guys, this is my new girlfriend, Chloe. Oh yeah, I remember her. No, that was 3 Chloes ago.
Yeah. And at the end we understood why. It's because he was still in love of the first one. And he kind of repeated that things.
Chloe number 1, what did you do?
So yeah, maybe the fact to have one type of person, it means something deeper. Maybe it's you like blonde girl because your teacher was blonde.
Yeah.
From a shallow perspective, I definitely have a type, but then the people I've dated, I have not been anything like the like obvious kind of prototype.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm happy with that because at the end of the day, it became a combination of attraction and connection, right? So
yeah. And then that's it. That's the other thing. Like I feel like again, types are in some small ways like a good thing, as long as they're not like a uniform like constitution of things you like need to have. Like it's like if someone doesn't check off one thing on this list, I am just done with them, even though they very may well be like the perfect person for me. As long as you're able to like waver at a few points.
Has anyone kind of ever had a moment where your kind of idea or type, has it ever been affected by something?
Was it ever just been like knocked off its rails a bit?
Yeah, by if you've ever met anyone or had an experience where you were like, oh, okay, this makes me want a person like this, or oh, I'm definitely never going to be with a person like this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually have one story. I used to date this guy, and
What name?
no.
Yeah, we could just give him like a
Censor.
fake name.
Okay, let's name this person
Bobby.
Bobby.
Bobby. Yeah, my brother's name is Bobby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you date my brother?
No. That's gonna be weird.
Yeah, no, go for it.
No.
Bobby.
Okay, Bobby. But okay, I used to date that guy named Bobby, and he was this controlling type of guy that he didn't show at first, but then as time went by, he started telling me, oh, Maeva, I don't like the way you walk, change the way you walk. Maeva, I don't like the way you eat, just change the way you eat.
Oh my god.
Oh, like, you're a girl, so you have to be elegant and everything,
I'm
so
already
you should
hating this
change.
dude.
Yeah. What the hell, Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby, freaking Bobby. So, and then after that, I said no, I don't want to continue because that's a huge red flag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That can like go to a couple like really bad places.
Yeah.
Because what's bad is that like if that sticks around like for long enough, then of course like those words almost become gospel because it's someone like you really care about.
Yeah.
And if they're telling you that this is wrong, like then of course you change yourself in all sorts of ways that it's just really bad.
Yeah. So that's why from that point I used to date someone that would accept me, but would still call me out for some stuff, but don't say, oh, you have to change that, you have to change this,
Right.
because it can be really toxic.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's an important thing. Always got to watch out for the Bobbies of the world.
Yeah. No offense, other Bobbies. Probably you.
Shout out to my brother.
Some good bobbies.
He's gonna be so mad. Oh, do you guys want another quote for you guys? I want someone who will look at me the same way I look at chocolate cake.
Aww.
I'm getting like way more hungry now. Wait. People say you can't live without love, but I think oxygen is more important. What? Screw that guy.
Oh my god. So like classic Tumblr era. Like I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I thought these would be like really like dull and like silly, but honestly this is pretty fun. I gotta use some of these actually.
That's really corny though.
Oh yeah, super
Yeah.
corny.
So you gotta
Yeah.
make sure that whatever your corniness level is, you gotta find someone who is.
Yeah.
okay.
So obviously I should stop and not read any one of these quotes, right?
Usually we have all these qualities that, you know, are good qualities, not so good qualities, but then when we're lucky enough, we find people who accept them and vice versa, and we balance each other out. And some people chalk it up to fate, other people chalk it up to hard work. So do you all believe in soulmates, or do you just think it's a combination of things, or...
Nope. Next. There is no such thing as soulmates, unfortunately. It's fine. I know. I'm sorry, guys. I'd give you a hug if I was in the same room as you guys, but no, sorry. Soulmates do not exist. You can still fall in love with people. Love still definitely exists. I know. I've felt it firsthand, but soulmates is an unfortunately made-up construct.
Okay, let's take the example then.
Oh, yeah.
You are with your girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, who's gonna kill me now?
But, for example, you have this job opportunity abroad.
Yeah.
This really good job opportunity.
Yeah.
So you decide to go work abroad.
Yeah.
So it means that you guys are going to be long distance.
Mm-hmm. Obviously. I mean, like, she could come with me, couldn't she?
But what if she has her own
Yeah,
job?
her-
Or I
Thing
could
going
just
on.
not take the job, too. I think you're
Let's-
forgetting the alternate options.
Let's imagine,
Yeah, right?
let's
All right,
imagine
fine.
that
I'm doing
you
long distance. This is gonna be fun.
you're
I'm
in
like
long
how this
distance.
goes.
And you figure out that you guys are busy and don't have enough time for each other.
Yeah.
So that started to make the relationship a little bit complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So you, who wants the best for your girlfriend, you're like, oh, actually, I think we should take a break so that you can focus on your job. And I made you cry a lot because of the distance.
Yeah.
And what if you come back and you guys don't talk for several months or
What?
even a year?
What are you trying to insinuate that this girl's like my soulmate?
Imagine.
Yeah. I'm just saying I'd go over there like pretty quickly.
Just picture your
Be
girlfriend.
like, hey, I just landed. Does Tuesday work? No. Okay, Thursday then. Perfect. See you there.
Just picture
Okay.
your girlfriend, okay? And then you come back
Yes.
to Toronto,
Got it.
and you can't forget this girl,
Yeah.
your girlfriend,
Oh yeah.
and that's the same for her. So wouldn't you think that's soulmate?
Okay. So I went on a trip, business tour. Wait, how long was I gone? Did you say that part?
Let's say you were gone for a year and a half.
Year and a half. All right. Great trip. Had a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Made a lot of
And-
new friends.
Yeah, and you tried meeting some new
Commute
people.
was really bad.
You tried meeting some new people,
yeah.
but you kept
Bar
comparing
scene was
it.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Stop! You kept comparing the girl that you were dating back there to this girl, to your girlfriend.
Well, no, it's again.
Do
There's
you think that's soulmate or not?
no. I don't. No, that's not soulmates. Because unfortunately,
Or it's like what?
yeah.
the
Because
hell?
unfortunately, like soulmates, I hate to say it, but I feel like people use soulmates too often nowadays as like a definition of a really strong, like beautiful, wonderful love, like between two people. Like, oh, if we love each other, we are soulmates. And obviously that exists. Obviously, yeah. If like that thing kind of happens, with girl who loved her job so much she didn't want to come and move along with me to my new business trip. I think that obviously that's a great love, and I think that's fantastic. I'm not hate. That's the thing. Whenever I say that soulmates don't exist, I'm definitely not hating on love. I love love. Love loves me, I think. But yeah, it's the thing of what I don't like about it is the idea that fate allows the fate is going to make me be with this one person only. And if anything ever were to happen where we're not together anymore, that is it. That is the relationship I was meant to have, and no relationship ever in the future will be as special. I don't like that. And I don't think, like, you know, you can love someone beyond the stars, beyond the moon, and maybe even have this person, maybe even you truly don't want to be in love with anyone as much as you're in love with this person. Even if, say, the worst happens, you lose this person and you keep moving on, you don't want to fall in love that much again. But, again, other relationships happen. Like, you in no way can determine the future, especially the far-flung future, you know? And if fate, however fate actually works in our cosmos, decides to throw another great person your way a couple years down the line, don't turn it down because of you thinking, oh, I've already met my soulmate. Because truly, maybe you haven't. I think it's, not imagining that soulmates don't technically exist, but love can continue to exist, I think is a very liberating thing.
I don't believe in soulmates, even if I really recognize myself into your story, because it happened to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aww.
Like 2 years ago, I broke up with my boyfriend because I had to go back to France, and he was in London. Then during 1 year we didn't talk. We were like, okay, it's over, we all have our own life now. And then I went back to London for an internship, and we just had a drink, like, hi, how are you after 1 year? The relationship start again, like if it wasn't over, like still 1 year, it just continue, and it was nothing. And now we moved to Canada. And I don't know if it's my soulmate, but I think you have true loves in your life, and it's one of these true loves.
Aww.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
I think whenever on the time you will have one person that will mean more than the other one. Doesn't matter if the relationship is short or long. It's like that guy I told you before, he will always have a connection to the girl he was in love, and no matter what's gonna happen, he will have and attached to her.
I don't believe in a fixed soulmate. I don't believe in romantic soulmates. I more so just believe that, if you can have a soulmate, but it can be anyone. You have a positive and fulfilling connection within your life. And
you still believe like they exist?
To a degree, but I guess soulmate is just such a restricting term. Kind of thing. It's a lot more broad than that. Like Chloe was saying about having a true love kind of thing. There's like the love of your life, or even like the one who got away. Like there's so many kind of categories for people who just make an imprint on you. But in regards to fate, I do kind of believe in it as more of a guiding factor as opposed to, oh, this person's here, they're your destiny. I think you meet people for certain reasons, things line up for certain reasons, the good and the bad.
And you know what else I don't sort of like about, like we've all sort of met that person who's in a relationship, a really good one, and they're like, fate brought us together, it was always meant to be. And I don't like that for a couple reasons, but the big one is just truly like minimizing like the work that those two people like put into making a relationship work really hard. Because that's one thing about love that everyone knows, but they don't really mention it as much as they could. Love always takes like a lot of work. Relationships and maintaining them takes a lot of work to keep it going. So, and like there wasn't some kind of invisible force that just made you two come together. You guys both worked on it. You both jumped through a lot of obstacles, probably did a few things that made you petrified inside, and you got past it. And that's one of the things about relationships that's really special. It forces you to come out of your shell in a lot of ways, half the time, and push yourself towards being with someone that you at least think is really, really cool.
That's a good way to put it. So just before we sign off, because we decided to talk about love this week because it is Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
So, I know, right? Greatest commercial holiday of the year.
Oh yeah.
A lot of chocolate. What I'm wondering is, what's your take on Valentine's Day? And are you all doing anything special for it? Whether it's with a partner or with yourselves or with friends?
Doing nothing. Next.
Your
No.
girlfriend know about it?
Oh yeah, no, seriously, call her up. I can call you. I can call her right now. Like, we both said to ourselves, like, we don't want to like go out anywhere like important for Valentine's Day.
Are you spending time together? Like,
Yes, of course we are.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, yeah, see you later, babe. I don't. I'm staying home tonight. No, it's we're not doing anything like super special. Cause she at least is like a little bit more shy. She doesn't love like the really public outings. And then B, like the whole fact that Valentine's Day is already just so big that everyone else is going to be out. We always like to say, why don't we do some kind of official outing like another time when you're actually like you don't have so many people
On a
around you,
Monday
like,
night.
Yeah, on Monday night. Hell, Monday night, 11 in the morning. At like a Waffle House or something.
Monday night at 11 in the
Yeah,
morning.
Monday night.
Be there.
Be there. Monday night at February 31st. Yeah, and yeah, so we're not doing anything special. What about you guys?
I'm just gonna stay my place, watching TV shows,
Yeah.
probably video calling,
Oh.
and that's it.
Do you do dinner dates?
I
Like on
can't.
aww.
But like on video, I mean.
Like on
On
video?
video?
So like you both eat a meal. Like I do that with mine when we're long distance.
It
So.
depends if he has time. But yeah, usually yes. But he will just lecture me like, why are you eating that? Like, that's like McDonald's, you know. That's not healthy. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, but yeah, when we have time, because we're both busy. But for Valentine's Day, I will just stay in my room. Don't want to go out and see all these couples, you know, because I will feel like lonely.
Aw.
Aww.
But yeah, just watch TV shows. That's it. That's pretty much it.
What about you, Chloe? Any plans?
Nothing special. I'm a little bit sad because I used to celebrate the Valentine's Day with my friends, watching movie and eating chocolates. I used to celebrate that with my friend, but now I will be with my boyfriend. So I don't know what we plan to do.
Aww.
But it's Canada, right? Your first time
Yeah.
here, so.
Yeah. Do you do
Let's
something
see.
special for
you
Let's
guys-
see,
Valentine's Day?
romantic places
You
in
guys should go
Toronto.
to the Light Festival.
I went.
Oh, you went?
Oh,
She went.
I was expecting a little bit more lights.
oh yeah, no, that's you'll find that a trend with a lot of like Toronto,
Pop-ups.
a lot of Toronto festivals. You'll be like, this is gonna be amazing, and then your final expression's like, meh. Okay, that was cool.
Yeah, I missed the Ice Festival in North York this weekend.
Oh, that
I
apparently
wanted
was
to
really good.
That
Though.
was
Ah.
what? Oh, I was in class. That's why. Oh, so sad.
I'm gonna check all the festivals in Toronto.
Yeah, it's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool that it's on a Friday this year too.
Yeah.
Do not like doing like the weird outings on like Tuesdays or Mondays, despite my like past comment.
I think he go to football, so no, I will be alone.
Oh my god,
But
seriously?
I don't care.
God.
Yeah. I mean, as long
Hate to say it, but this guy's starting to sound like a real Bobby.
I mean, as long as everyone's kind of doing their own thing, like you're gonna be talking to your boyfriend, you and your girlfriend are gonna be spending time together, and then you
I
guys
will
are.
be alone.
He's gonna come back and it'll be chill. Now I feel extra cheesy because. So my boyfriend's coming down from Ottawa because we do long distance.
Oh.
So, but also his birthday was on Monday. So what we've
Aw.
done since last year is that I combine it and I call it Birthentines, and then I take him
Aw.
out. So
Oh,
it's always like an event, but it's less Valentine's and more just because it's like a hybrid, and also then I just have to get him one thing. Well, that just about wraps it up for our love episode this season. And because love is such a vast and mysterious thing, I'm sure we'll be coming back and touching on the topic again in some other kind of way. And I think this conversation was pretty great. I personally took a lot away from it. I love the fact that we all agree that love is a combination of chemistry and hard work. And we'd love to know what you think. If you want to comment it on the CC Zone or anything like that, we'd love to hear your opinions on the topic. Next week, I believe we're going to be talking about true crime.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Ooh, okay, we all gotta come in and like tell our like best like stories of us breaking the law.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a big 180.
Yeah.
But so stay tuned for that. And once again, please follow us on Instagram at the CC Zone and listen to us on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week.
Woo.
Bye everyone.
Oh yeah. Bye.